James Caan, born in Pakistan, is an entrepreneur from the UK who has always had a soft spot for the country of his birth. James founded the James Caan Foundation in 2015 with a mission of helping the poor and underprivileged around the world and to give them a chance at a better life by focusing on health, education, and empowering livelihoods. The James Caan Foundation was set up to help those less fortunate and is based on the principle that education and entrepreneurship are at the heart of relieving people out of hardship. Over the years, James has made over 20 trips to Pakistan, starting from 2005, where he built a school for over 650 children on the outskirts of Lahore, personally delivered food to over 2,000 families in the floods of 2010, and built new homes for hundreds of families after the earthquake in 2013.
Successful completion.
Disaster hit Pakistan yet again, with torrential monsoon rains that triggered the most severe flooding in Pakistan's recent history, washing away villages and leaving around 3.4 million children and 33 million people at increased risk of waterborne diseases, drowning, and malnutrition. As many as 7 million people have been temporarily displaced. Some major rivers breached their banks and dams have overflowed, destroying homes, farms, and critical infrastructure, including roads, bridges, schools, hospitals, and public health facilities. James was deeply concerned by the floods in Pakistan and mobilized his team in Lahore, Pakistan without further ado, led by Danish Rana, his country manager on the ground. Sourcing food at this critical time was extremely challenging due to vast shortage and escalating prices countrywide. We reached out far and wide and eventually managed to secure a deal with a Pakistani supermarket chain based in Lahore. On-ground team prepared a list of basic items including, but not limited to, flour, sugar, rice, salt, dry milk, cooking oil, tea, and various spices, and managed to stack around 1,000 packages, each carrying crucial survival and grocery items. There were around 1,000 blankets procured to be distributed alongside the packages, as those affected by floods had nothing but a tarp over their heads. All was delivered to a central warehouse to be loaded onto 3 trucks secured by the team, ready for the long trip. Due to the desperation of the locals who had not received food and water for weeks, we had to arrange security for the convoy to protect the supplies. The task was not less than a mammoth, with over 30 million people affected over a land mass the size of the United Kingdom. Danish and his team decided to target the southern Punjab, where the flood had mercilessly destroyed thousands of acres of land and the livelihood of uncountable families who had no way of receiving aid due to unfavorable road conditions. We mapped out the logistics to the routes, bearing in mind the floods had caused incredible damage to the roads and bridges along the journey, as we were going to cover approximately 1,200 to 1,400 miles. It was at minimum not less than a 3-day task. Dera Ghazi Khan, abbreviated as DG Khan, is a city in the southwestern part of Punjab, Pakistan. It is the 19th largest city of Pakistan by population, touching up to a total of 500,000 plus people. Lying west of the Indus River, its inhabitants are mostly Saraikis and Balok. There were reports of many people losing their lives, hundreds of schools destroyed, including 18 hospitals, more than 900,000-acre land, and 36,000 houses were completely wiped off the face of the earth in Dera Ghazi Khan in these recent floods. The team planned its distribution in areas of Tomsa Sharif, a subdivision of Dera Ghazi Khan, namely Barthi, Mangrotha, and Basti Omadani. On Friday, 23rd September, the convoy of 3 trucks and 2 jeeps started its journey towards Dera Ghazi Khan from Lahore. Traveling with containers loaded till the neck on a bumpy road, it took them approximately 9 hours to reach DG Khan, where the team formalized the plan to cover Tomsa Sharif, Barthi as their first location. On Saturday, 24th of September, the team set off for Barthi, which is a part of Tomsa Tehsil. The estimated time to reach the affected location was more than 3 hours, despite being hardly 50 miles away from the starting point of the relief team's journey, as it is located right in the middle of a mountain range, with almost no roads left to connect those living in a village in the heart of those mountains to the outside world. During the journey towards Barthi, Danish and his team witnessed mass destruction of agricultural fields caused by the floods. The roads were completely wiped off the map, and all that remained was mud and dust. The team selected a spot for distribution and immediately started attracting the attention of locals in the area, as those villagers were not expecting any help to arrive, knowing well that all roads connecting to their village were almost completely destroyed due to the floods. People here were noticed to be desperate for help and needed immediate attention. Our relief team sprang into action, interacted with the crowd, and organized everyone into a queue system to peacefully handle distribution and avoid any havoc. As a result of a well-organized plan, our team successfully distributed aid amongst almost 300 families in Barthi and moved on to their next location. On August 14, at 1:30 p.m., water gushed down the hills into Mangrotha, tearing down 110 homes and displacing many families. Most of the residents are daily wages who earn as low as 600 to 700 rupees a day, equivalent to just over £6 a day. To reconstruct a single-room home will cost up to Rs 500,000. Money which they do not have. Yet, Mangrotha was a challenging location, as the locals had received news of aid arriving from various pronounced _word, but had seen none, which raised their desperation levels through the roof. On the very first sight of our relief convoy, our team was met with hostility and were attacked. On immediate effect, the team's security took charge and managed to disperse the crowd with minimum injuries to a few team members. On further investigation, it was understood that the locals expected our team to behave like several other NGOs they had witnessed in the last few weeks. These locals were promised aid and help in rebuilding their houses, but all aid that had arrived was snatched and locked away by local leaders and was sold back into the market for personal gains. Villagers say the chief minister distributed checks of Rs 800,000, but only to families who had lost a family member. The rest of the survivors received nothing from the government. Several families added that some government officials bought 20 trucks, but as soon as the officials left, the trucks did too, without distributing anything. Now it was very clear why such actions were necessary for the villagers. It was about their survival, and they had seen no help arrive so far. Help had to be provided at any cost, so Danish and his team took a quick decision despite all risks involved, and moved all team members and the truck carrying the aid to a secure location by identifying a school nearby. With the help of a few locals, the gates were secured and only 10 families were allowed to enter the premises at a time and were given a backdoor exit after receiving their packages. After 5 hours of consistent efforts, the relief team finally managed to unload their second truck and successfully distributed aid packages amongst more than 400 families under extreme challenging conditions. Sunday, 25th September, was the day that was planned for Basti Omadani, situated nearby Haji Basksh Omadani and north of Gurdwara. With yesterday's events fresh in their minds, Danish decided to survey the area before letting the trucks enter to avoid any attention. It was devastation at a whole different level. The floods had severely affected a population of 15,000. Almost 57 people had lost their lives, more than 2,000 homes completely destroyed by the unforgiving floods, and with no access to food or clean drinking water, the locals had exhausted almost all their survival options. The relief team discussed their plans with a few local members of the village and acquired their help to organize everyone in queues, where the strategy was to facilitate the elderly, women, and children first. The locals responded with full support and gathered all affected families in a closed-off area as per instructions provided by the relief team. Once all queues were organized and assembled, our trucks carrying aid entered the area and our relief team started the distribution process. We successfully facilitated almost 400 families with aid and delivered hope in their hearts. Every single member of this village showed our team utmost respect, as they had not witnessed such equality in aid distribution before.
बहुत शुक्रिया दोस्तों, बहुत शुक्रिया, जज़ाकल्लाह.
These locals have lost their homes, their families, and everything they have built over a lifetime. They have been asked to submit their identification papers to receive aid by every other NGO that has visited their area, and these locals couldn't stop asking the same question. How could you expect us to save our papers when we couldn't manage to save our children, our families, and our homes?
I am Sabir Hussain from Basti Hamdani, district James Caan. I would like to pay thanks to James Caan Foundation, who have come here to help our people who are affected from the flood. Mostly 500 houses are destroyed from the flood. Almost 15 to 50,000 people are living here. Organizations are coming here, but they demand their ID cards. Most of the people have missed their ID cards because of flood. Their houses have been destroyed. Their assets have been destroyed. Their animals have been blown in the water. If they don't have their ID card, they cannot get anything.
A record amount of donation has been collected for these flood victims. No other disaster has ever amounted to such donations in Pakistan's history. However, only 10% of the flood victims have received any assistance so far, and these people are still waiting for hope and help to knock on what's left of their doors.
हमारी तरफ मुखैया रहे हैं भाई जेम्स कान फाउंडेशन वालों ने. ये देखें, ये है मेरे सब भाइयों को, लेडीज मर्द बच्चों को सब कुछ जो मिलेगा इंशाअल्लाह सबको बराबर मिलेगा. ना किसी ने आज हमसे टोकन लिया है, ना आईडी कार्ड लिया है. हम इन लोगों के बच्चों को दुआएं देंगे इंशाअल्लाह. हम इन लोगों के बहुत ज्यादा मशकूर हैं.
They have no electricity, no internet, and no way of communicating their current conditions to the outside world. They are drowning in their ever-increasing problems. With no food to consume and no roof over their heads, they are now at increased risk of waterborne diseases.
ये सारा घर रेखा देखो था, ये सिलाब है सारा डट्ठे, ठीक है ना. 7 भिरा है समझ ऐसा. बच्ची के शेकन ये सामान सारा गए लोड़ गए. खटड़े मटड़े त्रुट गए ने सारे मकसद. कपड़े शपड़े हाँ कपड़े शपड़े गई है सब शायद समझ. इमदाद सरकारी सिर्फ आमदे का नहीं पैसा रहे. बाकी अल्लाह वाले लोग आमदे पान देने पानो.
This is devastation at its worst. We saw helplessness, we saw hunger, and we saw children with smiling faces having no idea what they've been through, what they've lost in these unforgiving floods. We could not hold every hand, help every individual, and cover everyone's losses. But even a single drop has an impact, and this was our effort to reach as many as we could. With faith in our hearts and determination in our eyes, we set off for a journey that not only impacted the lives of many, it also helped us realize how much more needs to be done. The James Caan Foundation was built on the ideology of spreading smiles, to become a beacon of hope for the hopeless, to reach and approach those in need is what we aim to do. And this doesn't end here. The James Caan Foundation will be back to spread more love, smiles, and hope.